my crafty friends, it's Terry and welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be doing a tutorial for this new showcase, the Indulgent Index box die and stamp set. So this die and stamp set includes everything you need to make these beautiful index boxes. So in this tutorial I will be showing you how to make this one. So I'm using a mixture of the verso intricate dies and also the patterned paper, and it's all from the Coral Skies recent trend, and I also made another box which is sort of using the rustic rose colour trend elements. I do love green, my regulars will know that, and I also love these. I think this this metallic bronze looks absolutely gorgeous with the pink and the green. So without further ado, let's dive in and we'll set about making this a project. Okay, so let's have a look at the die set and the things that we need to cut out to get started. So the instructions are very clear. They tell you exactly what you need to cut out to create the box, and they also say which you know, it's down to personal preference whether you want to decorate your individual components before you assemble the box or as you go along. I often tend to assemble it first and then decorate it, but in my first make before this one that I'm going to show you, I did decorate it first, and I found that easier. It just felt more intuitive, so that's what I've gone ahead and done for this. So we cut one of this large die out, and that forms the back of the box and the sides, and as is the case with all of the 3D makes from Tonic Studios, they give you a range of different verso dies that you can use to create gorgeous patterns. So I've gone for this like stripy one, but there's also this gorgeous floral one as well. They also give you just the outline, so you can make use of nice patterned paper. These are the colours from the most recent colour trend, the Coral Skies. So that's everything, all of the cardstock and everything, and the paper is from that trend, except that I backed the Flanders Blue Speciality cardstock onto some bubblegum pink. So you need one of these. You need to cut one of these which forms the lid of the box and like the opening flap. Then two hinges which attach onto here. It says to cut one index card, and that is to cover the back here because we'll be sticking things onto there, so it's to hide the tabs. But I just again picked a nice piece of paper from the paper pad. You want two of the dies. They're very similar to another die. This one is slightly longer, ever so slightly longer, and it's got tapered edges, whereas this one, which is for the sides of the box here, that's got a rounded edge. So that's how you know the difference. And this forms the base of the box and the front bit at the bottom. So again, you'll need to decorate one of these, so you just have to work out which one. I mean, they're both the same, but you just need to decorate one. You don't need to decorate the base. So it's just paying, if you are sort of decorating in advance, it's worth just sort of thinking, okay, well, which bit's going to be next to this bit? So I know this bit is going to be here, so that's going to look nice like that. And then the lid is going to be here. So I did all of my actual construction pieces in the coral luster, the pearlescent cardstock, because I think pearlescent cardstock is a lovely weight for construction. With these corners here, I originally again just picked out the plain dye and used the Flanders blue, but then I really did want to incorporate some of that gorgeous what's the word, glittery cardstock, and then it tells you to cut out 2 of these little wraps, but I think it's nice to cut out 3 so you can make a belly band, as you will see as we go along. And then there are 2 elements to the handle. They're both very similar, except one has got fold lines, so you can do that with it. And then it's got this optional little die here that you can use with mirror card or pearlescent card. Mirror is always best in my opinion to give a nice debossed impression. There's a lovely tag die with some floral elements, and there's lots of different sentiments here, but I've chosen this one to be Scrummy Treats. So this one, I will show you how to make the index cards, but this particular make I am having it as a treats jar. That's going to be the idea of that, or a treats box. So to put little treats in there to sit on the craft desk is the idea. And then I will show you the other one that I've made with the index cards. And then lastly, there's this little die here, and that works in conjunction with the handle to actually lock the lid in place. So now I've explained all that, let's go about and assemble it, shall we? So we've got our main die here, and then we need to assemble the base. So firstly, I'll use my fine tipped glue because I do like this. We're going to, so make sure you've folded and burnished all of your score lines in advance. That just tends to make things a lot easier in my humble opinion. So that goes on to there, and then we'll turn it over and check, make sure that it's in the correct position. See if it needs a little wiggle. No, that looks good. Use my little bone folder. I do love the Teflon bone folder, I must say. So much better than a plastic one. A bit more expensive, but it's worth it when you see them on offer. So that's gone onto there, and then this one now, the one that's been decorated, gets glued onto there. You could use red line tape and then maybe add a bit of glue over the top for extra strength. I do find with the Nouveau Deluxe adhesive that it is nice and grabby, and it does give you the time for wiggle room. So I'm personally quite confident in just using the wet adhesive and not using score tape or red line tape. Yep, happy with that. Because it's pearlescent, it does like to slide around a bit more than some other cardstocks. Not quite as bad as mirror, but so there we go. Look how quickly it's coming together. We've got our base, the bottom half of the front, our sides and the back. So We'll just do it a bit at a time. So I've offered that up there, and again always just checking that it's not gone too far over, and then just make sure that the tabs are on the inside for here, and then bring that up, make sure that meets there. So you won't be able to see this, but I'm just going inside and very gently just going over those glue tabs with my bone folder to encourage them to stay in their correct places. So there we go, there's the base assembled, and then what do the instructions tell us to do next? It's pretty useful, most useful for me to tell you or to demonstrate in the way that the instructions tell you to. So glue that to that, do that, and then adhere these side pieces. So you need to make sure that you get them the right way round. So obviously there's hinges on 3 sides, and you can see that I've done one the wrong way because there should be a side with no hinges facing out, but that's fine. So there we go. So they need to be glued into there. And then you can see with all this gluing of tabs and whatnot where it says to cut a divider to cover the workings at the back. Well, it doesn't completely cover it because it's a bit smaller, but it does make it look neater. So next we are directed to adhere the back panel to cover our workings. So once you've done all of the cutting out, once you've decided on your colour scheme, chosen your cardstock and papers, decided if you're going to do verso, die cutting, paper piecing, showcasing your nice speciality cardstock, or using up some pretty paper that you've got. Once you've done all that and cut out the pieces and stuck them together, assembled them ready to the point where we were when I started the tutorial. Once you've done all that, the actual putting of it together is really quite quick. It doesn't take long at all. But I say you do just need to pay attention to what decorations you want, that where, you know, for example, I knew I wanted the bottom to all look like that, so yeah, and then I wanted the inside to be dark. So then the next bit is building the lid. So to build the lid we need our side panels or our corner panels, and we need the hinges. I'm going to check got this the right way up. So I want it there. Yeah, I want it there, so yeah, it's going to go over there. That's correct, isn't it? Yeah. Double checking. It's always better to double check than have to unstick. So we attach the corner tabs, the corners, what are they called? Lid sides. We attach the lid sides. I don't know what's wrong with my brain today. We attach the lid sides via the glue tabs, and then we use the hinges. The one hinge attaches it to this bit, and the other hinge really cleverly just sort of tucks in to the top. There is an actual closure mechanism as well, but it just tucks in just behind there, which I thought was really clever. I really like this patterned paper, and I really like this colour trend. When I first saw this orange glitter cardstock, I thought, oh gosh, that's really not me. But when I actually started playing with that craft kit, the makes that I came up with, I just loved them. I'll put a link to that video actually. Well, yeah, I'll put a link to the video in the description, where I made 2 cards using this the craft kit that that showcased this colour trend, because in case you've got that and haven't used it yet, or in case you want some inspiration for that. But one was like a nighttime scene with like palm trees and a boat and waves, and I did the palm trees, like some of them were in this colour, and oh, it was just beautiful. It was really nice. Love that card. I think that's one of those that's gonna stay in my private collection. Do you guys do that? You make some things and it's like, oh, that's such a nice card, I don't actually want to give it away. I've got a few Christmas cards that are like that. It's like, I made them and thought, oh, so and so would like that, but it's like, but I like it. So yeah, I go into my permanent collection. It's like, yeah, of course I could make it again, but you know, my cards tend to be a one-off. I don't really do batch making. How about you? Do you do like batch make things, or do you tend to just enjoy making different things? Right, so that's how that is going to go on, but in order for that to go on, we have to attach these hinges. So I'm going to check which is the best way to attach. Okay, so we attach the one side of the hinge, being careful not to go beyond the score line, and just make sure that's good and adhered before we adhere that to the actual box. So that's the position that we want it in. So I'm just holding it in position with three of my fingers at the moment, and just checking that position to see whether it needs to move down a little bit. You can see what I mean here. Oh no, I haven't stuck it on yet, but the other hinge will just tuck in there. Yeah, so this is just a little bit of having to just sort of hold it in place while the glue grabs, because if you move it too much it moves out of position. Actually, this is a much better way of doing it, and that is actually what the instructions said. I'd forgotten. So obviously once you've made sure that it's in the correct position, which that is, then you can sort of do that and press it down. And then put the other hinge onto the other side, onto here. And then that will just tuck down neatly. So it's just another way of sort of holding the box together, really. Okay, and there we go. So next is the handle. So the handle comes in two parts. So the top one is longer and it's got these two score lines, so you do a mountain and then a valley, and then we stick them together. It's quite obvious where you need to stick them. So you just put some glue on these bits. We line up one end first and get that correct and hold it in place, and then we can position the other one similarly. There we go. And then when we glue our handle down, we don't put any glue in this centre bit here, because what happens is this, which is called a lock strap, goes through there underneath, and there's a few score lines, so you can just pick which one works best for you. But I think I used that one last time. That one. And then you can stick that to the back, and then you can either stick something, if you want to cover that up, you can obviously stick some patterned paper or another index card or something on the back, or I've just picked it in a contrasting colour so that it'll look nice. So again, we just add glue to the ends and avoid that middle section. So now we're in the final stages. We this has adhered, I've given it a few minutes, and then you just poke the arrow end through, and then after folding and burnishing your score line, and then you can fold that back and apply some glue, and that just gives some extra reinforcement to holding the lid down. So I'm going to get it in position correctly like that, and then fold that down. And then just hold it in place for a few moments so that we know it's adhered in the correct place. Yep. So there we go. Doesn't that look gorgeous? What I did for the other one, so the other one here, I used patterned paper, or cardstock actually, on the sides and on this belly band, and then I did a bit of paper piecing and then added some Nouveau drops, which I think looks really nice. So these are they're called wrap straps. So they're the things that you're meant to cut two of. And they glue together, and then you can wrap them round your box. So what I've done here is I've added an extra one and done it as a belly band so it can be slipped off. So I glued the back there, so I'm going to do the same with this one. But you could also, one of the examples on the packaging shows this going through the handle and having the sentiment the other way. So like that. So what they must have done is used a magnet or some hook and eye loops to get it obviously through the handle and then be able to open it either on the, they've probably done it on the back, but I quite like the belly band look. It's just a little added extra, I think, and so to make that you just need 3, and it also, oh, I've put it on upside down. So I'll show you what I mean. So we use these little glue tabs. Slippery little suckers when you're using pearlescent paper, pearlescent cardstock, but I do think it's worth it. As you can see with this one, because you have just the plain die, and then you've got a choice of 1, 2 different decorative dies, so I use this one. And there's also another one that you can that doesn't have the cutting edge, so that you can cut it into that if you wanted to, or you can use a favourite cardstock or patterned paper and just use the outline. So I have used that die that I just showed you, the bubblegum pink, and then put it onto the pearlescent card. So that's stuck now, and I'll then fold over the other one, and I'm just going to check that these are going to fit nicely round. Yep, should do. I do like that though, with the little touches. This is what I've done to go on top of here. I used the innermost die, so there's a tag, you can choose to use a tag, and this is the die inside the tag, which I think is a nice shape. So I've cut that out of the glitter cardstock and then used another one of the sentiments, the Scrummy Treats, because I just think this would be a lovely gift box. It's just a nice sort of small to medium size. You can put like bottles of Nouveau drops and that sort of sized item in here, as well as obviously using it as an index box. But we've got a sentiment for Scrummy Treats, and who doesn't like to have Scrummy Treats in their craft room? So there we go. So because I've got layers, quite thick layers here, I just need to make sure and go over the thickest parts to make sure that the belly band will actually go down. So if I put it up here, because I want it to sit there for the purposes of general display, but then I need it to be able to slide it off. So yeah, that looks fine. I can actually move that crease line over a tad bit, I think, to make it a little bit tighter. Let's just double check that again. Always best to double and triple check your workings. Yep, that fits nicely. And then we can still slide it down. So yeah, I'm happy with that now. So pop some glue on here. And hold that. So then the last thing to do is adhere this to the front of the belly band, and then I'll show you the index cards, because obviously I'm not going to have index cards in this make, but this one, it says here, it's upside down, but it says special dates. So that's just two of the 6 sentiments that you get in your kit. So there's a lot of bang for your buck in this, and lots of ways to use these elements in cards. I mean, the decorative verso dies are absolutely beautiful. The panels, I mean, that would just be a really gorgeous like mini gatefold card. It's so cute, you know, just using the back and the sides. Yeah, there's just so many possibilities, and there's lots of, you know, you don't just get one edge border, you've got 1, 2, 3, like 4 different types. Right, that should be okay now to take off. Oh, a bit of glue, don't want you on there. So we'll just check, we can move it up, yeah, we can move it down. It's not going to fall off if we stand it up. No, it's going to stay in position. Lovely. Okay, so and I'm going to stick this on just with a bit of foam tape just to raise it up a bit. So to create our tabs, we've been given two different dies. So this one gives a rounded edged tab, and this one gives a bit of a more fancy tab. Now they're really cleverly designed, so essentially you can see that there's these notches all the way along, and this is one long continuous cutting edge, which is good because as well as being able to use it on this project, you can also use it on other projects. So if you're making memory books, for example, you could also use it on those. But the notches are perfectly sized for the index card. So in order to make the tab on the left hand side, you line up the notch with the edge. Well, actually, if I do it like this, you line up the notch with the edge of the cardstock. There, and then you'd put some tape on and run it through your die cutting machine, and then it would cut that off, which is what I've done here. And then if you wanted the tab, then the next tab in the series, if we're doing an index, you'd probably want the next tab there. So what you would do with this one is move it along so that the tabs are aligned here, and then run that through the die cutting machine. And then likewise, if you wanted it on the right, you would line up that tab there and then run that through the die cutting machine, so the tab would move from there to there to there. And I've cut out 6 because you can use them both sides. So if you look at the stamps, we've got the days of the week, we've got the months of the year, we've also got the word recipes, we've got the numbers 1 to 31. We've got a stamp here that stamps some lines. So seeing as how this make is special dates, I'm going to need one for each month. But if I stamp January on there and February on the reverse, then it cuts down the amount of cardstock that I need to use. So and if it's, for example, birthdays, so you want to use it to keep track of your birthdays, or if you wanted to use it to keep track of special dates that you've had in your relationship, maybe write a little note or put in a ticket stub, oh, we went to see this great film in February, you want to pop it in February's, you can just pop it in February's, or we went to so and so place in August, and then you could pop it in the Augusts. So that's the way I'm going to do it. Stamp January on there, and then February on the reverse, so the things for January can be in front and February behind. So there we go. Or if you're not being a cheapskate, then you could just cut 12 pieces of 12 squares. I mean, to cut 6, it's only taken one. I've got I got 4 out of 1 sheet, so yeah, it only takes like 3 sheets to get 12 squares. Okay, my crafty friends, so here we go, the completed 2 makes. So this one is full of scrummy treats. So to open it, well, you don't have to even remove the belly band to open it. So this keeps it shut, and also the tab there, but you just open it like that, and then you can see it's full of sweeties. So this is going to be posted off to Tonic Studios today, so the girls in the office will have something to munch on. So if there aren't any in the live, then you'll know that it's because the girls have eaten them. So yeah, so there's that one for scrummy treats, and then there's the other one for special dates. And again, you just pull down the top, and then what you'll see, you can see what I've done in here is I've stamped out, I've made all of the 6 divider tabs, and then stamped on the front and the back. So that's a great way to keep memories. So you can, with the stamp set, obviously do a lot more, but I just went for that to keep it sort of very variable as to how you can use it. And they all pop in there just perfectly, so there's plenty of room for them to sit nicely. So again, you can just tuck that tab in and then put the locking mechanism through. Move the belly band back up. I think it looks quite nice when it's sitting there. And bish bash bosh, we're done. So I'd love to know what your favourite is and what you think you would use this little box for. Would you use it for gifting things? Would you have little index boxes for recipe cards and birthdays and whatnot? And will you be buying this for your stash? So if you are going to pick up one of these kits, which, I mean, there is so much in it, I think it's excellent. I would really love it if you would consider using my affiliate link, which is in the description box. And any other Tonic goodies like cardstock or whatever that you wanted to buy, that gives me a small commission at no extra cost to yourself, and I really appreciate it whenever people use my affiliate links. It just helps support me and my channel and keep me in cardstock and Nouveau drops, etc. So that's all from me today, and I'll see you soon with some more crafty goodness. In fact, I'll see you a lot in March, so see you soon. Take care. Bye.